Hi, my name is Stephanie. Welcome to the Everyday Sewist. Thanks for being here today. This is episode 10. I have many projects that I'd like to share with you today, so let's get started. First of all, I have my Wonky Stars behind me. This is my old finish. This is something I finished way back in, I think it was around 2004, so a good 20 years ago. But I do have a reason for showing you this. First of all, I still really like it. I still think it's a timeless design to have star blocks. And the technique is still being used a lot today to make these wonky blocks. And if you would like, at some point I can put together a tutorial on how to do this. The original pattern was by Jan Mullen and called Stargazy. I do not believe it's in print anymore. You might be able to find a copy of it on the secondary market. I'm not sure. I have not looked for it. But the technique was very popular when she came out with her line of quilts, and I loved it, so I made this one. It's had quite a bit of use over the years. It was one of the first quilts that I quilted on my domestic machine. I made it before I had a long arm, and so all the quilting was done with a monofilament thread on the top. It felt like quite an accomplishment for me at the time. I'm sure you can understand that and relate to that. The backing of this is this cute blue print, and the binding is a cute little stripe. And like I said, the reason I wanted to show this one to you today is because I was still dealing with the leftovers from this quilt and another quilt in a pile of orphan blocks that I had. So over the last few months, every once in a while, I get this bin out that has a whole, it's chock-a-block full of all kinds of leftover blocks. And I'm trying to work my way through those when I can possibly use them. I used some of them in another recent finish called Long Time Gone, and I posted that one in one of the previous episodes. So I was really happy with the way that turned out. I had another finish last year where I used some of my orphan blocks and incorporated those old blocks into a new quilt that I was making. So my finish today that I want to show you, my new finish, has some of these very same star blocks along with some leftover blocks that I guess I'd call boxes. And those blocks I showed you last time as a pile of blocks. And as I was trying to figure out the layout for them, I remembered and came across the star blocks. So I added some of the star blocks and paired those up with these blocks because they were the same size and similar colors, and I thought they looked really good together. These blocks were left over from a quilt that I made for my nephew back in 2004 when he graduated from high school. So boy, it's taken me an awful long time to work through some of these things, but I do think that there's a rhyme and a reason out there somewhere for why some of these things happen the way they do. So let me put this one up for you so that you can see the whole thing. I guess before I do that, I'm going to show you, while it's in my hand, I'm going to show you a couple of things about it that I think are really special and that I really like about it. One is this backing fabric. I used this from my stash. It's a Kate Spain. I think it's really, really pretty. And the second thing I did is I used a new pattern, quilting pattern, and it's all kinds of cactuses, and I thought it was super cute. And you can find pantographs, that's what they're called, these quilting designs. You can find those for so many different topics and themes. It's limitless. There's a lot of really talented designers out there. I do not design my own. I purchase them when I want one. And so this turned out, I think, super cute with the addition of this cactus design on it, and I can see using that again. Of course, I have a stripe for the binding. I do like to use a stripe if I have one that works for it. And the other thing that I wanted to show you about this quilt is something else that I've been trying to do lately with my quilts. And I had mentioned previously that I like to sign my name while the quilt is on the long arm. So I use my long arm and I kind of basically sign my name in script, like a signature, somewhere usually at the bottom of the quilt. Well, in response to that, one of the viewers, Becky, said that she likes to put secret messages into her quilts. Ah, I love that idea. That just really resonated with me. So I tried it on this quilt. In the bottom of this quilt, there are little messages. Let's see if I can find one of them here. In script, here's one. And in turn, they say, you are brave, you are smart, and you are strong. Because people, I want y'all to remember that. You are all of those things, every one of you. And so I hope that whoever ends up getting this quilt will find my little secret message, and every time they use it, I hope that they will remind themselves of those wonderful qualities that they have. So let me pull this up here for you. And by the way, when I'm showing something like this, did you know that not only can you fast forward, rewind, watch things again, you probably all know that, but you can, if you're watching it on an iPad or on your iPhone, you can pinch and zoom in to see something more clearly. So if there's a detail that maybe I haven't gotten up quite close enough to the camera for you and you want to see it a little better, you might try pinching in on that, and then hopefully you'll be able to see what you're looking for on that. So here is my finish for this video. This is my 13th quilt that I have finished so far in 2025. It is the 24th project that I finished. So I didn't count some of the smaller ones like the pin cushions and the pillowcases and other little smaller things, little bags and things like that I've made this year. So not too bad, 13 finishes for the year. I'm pretty happy with that. But you can see very clearly here where the star blocks come from, right? The stars and the stars. And so again, that was, maybe I just didn't realize that as a newer quilter at that time and hadn't thought about combining blocks from different projects. But I think this is really successful and I'm really happy to share it with you. So that's my new finish for this time. And I have a whole bunch of other things that I can share with you as well. So as I keep going through my leftover blocks, I also ended up with finding a baggie with 60 heart blocks. And I think I know what project they came from. I think it was because I had changed my mind from doing all one color to doing more of a rainbow effect with the heart blocks. So I had just set these aside. And that wasn't that long ago, maybe only a couple of years ago. But I guess if it's not too early to do Christmas presents and Christmas quilts, maybe it's not too early to do Valentine's in July. Ever heard of that? Well, anyway, so I'm really happy to have gotten these blocks out and made them into a top. It has been quilted and it is just waiting for me to hand stitch the binding down to the back. So let me show you a little bit more about this one before I will put it back up there behind me. This one has a flannel backing, one of those lovely Robert Kaufman flannel backings. I thought it would feel really nice, and if it does end up being something that I gift in February, it will certainly be really cozy at that time of year to have a flannel backing. The quilting pattern on it, I just did a really large scale design. It's called Ginger Spring, and that's the little bit of a view of how that one looks. And I guess what? I did the same thing on this one. Since I had just finished that one and then I put this one on the long arm, I remembered to put my message in there again, the same words. So again, whoever will get this, it has the same words written into the sashing there on the bottom. So I'm super excited about that. Very pleased with that whole idea. And this one has kind of a puffier batting in it. So with the light quilting, it means that I think it's going to feel really puffy and nice for whoever gets it. So let me put this one up behind me. Okay. Let you get a good view of that one. And again, if you would like to, you can pinch in and get it up a little closer to that. I have done a lot of other sewing. I have started a couple of new projects, and I have been working on really old things and really new things. So part of this is kind of going from the things that I finished to the things that are the next closest to being finished, and then to the next closest to being finished, and so on. And so I'm kind of working my way down. You'll kind of see what my workflow is in this, that as soon as I have something that is quilted and bound, or quilted and ready for binding, then I like to move on to the next one to get it onto the machine. And in the meantime, I'm always piecing something, and some things, of course, take longer than others. But this next one was super fast. So it's from this Jolly Bar book from the Fat Quarter Shop. I really like these little publications. I've got a few of them, and so this is the one that I'm going to show you, and it's called Seize the Day. And one of the things I like about these books is that for $10, you get 20 patterns. Now, maybe you're not familiar with what a Jolly Bar is, so let me just backtrack a bit. A Jolly Bar is a 5-inch by 10-inch piece of fabric, and these are made the same way a layer cake is made, and the layer cake is 10-inch squares, and it will have a piece of fabric, at least one piece of fabric from every fabric in a particular collection. The Jolly Bar is similar. You get it collection by collection, and only instead of it being 10 by 10, it's 5 by 10. And that's still a surprisingly good amount of fabric to work with. So let me show you what you can make with a Jolly Bar. And those are fairly new to me. I hadn't, now these fabrics, I did not buy a Jolly Bar. I cut my own 5 by 10-inch rectangles for this. Let me open this up. This has not been quilted yet. But I'm calling mine Summer Fun. I started with this popsicle fabric. And this fabric, this cute little popsicle fabric, is from 2017. So I've had this bundle, or I've had this little grouping for a while. And then I pulled some other fabrics to go along with it. And I'm calling it Summer Fun because I specifically looked for cute little fabrics with, so it's got boats, it's got a little beach scene on it. There are a couple of summers when I had spent some time at the beach with my family that was really fun memory. And of course, eating the popsicles, going to the ice cream shop after a day at the beach, those kind of things was really, really fun. Then sometimes we'd rent bicycles at the beach, so I have little bicycle fabric in there. And then, of course, you got to take the puppies for walks, so that's why I said this kind of represented some of the fun things that I remember about earlier days and in the summertime. That went together super fast. And so if you are looking to make something super fast and you don't mind cutting your own, or you could order their Jolly Bars. But this is an example. This is how many different patterns there are in this one book. And so I think that's a really good deal. And since I have lots of fabric to use and lots of quilts that I want to make and get out there to kiddos and family members and everything like that, then I think this is going to be give me some really great ideas. So that one is, if I get my backing together, that one should be done by next time. The next one I just finished. I just assembled in the last couple days. But it is super old. Again, this one is also probably from before 2010. This one has a plus block in like positive and negative. So you have the light plus and the dark plus alternating. And this one was made with 2-inch squares. I actually was gifted this box of 2-inch squares, and this project already started from a woman that had passed away, and her family was trying to find homes for these unfinished projects. So I said I would like this one and I would work on it, and they weren't wanting them back or anything like that. They just wanted to have them go into, they just wanted to pass them along. So I took these and I really didn't do anything with them for quite a while. They were, like I said, they were half constructed and I wasn't quite sure. There was no pattern with it. So the best I could figure out was that she was trying to make these plus blocks. I guess I pulled them out a couple times. Anyway, I had 22 blocks and I needed 30. So just this week, when I pulled it out, I decided it didn't need to be a big queen size quilt. It would be just fine and lovely to have as a lap size. Giving myself that freedom to work on something a little bit smaller made all the difference. I got those last 8 blocks sewn together, and then in another 2 days, a couple of sewing sessions, I had the top almost done. I just need to put the border on it. So let me show you what this one looks like. This one will go onto the long arm very soon as well. And then the next thing I have on the long arm, to go on the long arm, so these are things that I finished in July. So here's a little stat check for you. In July, I had 19 projects on my list that I wanted to at least work on, at least make some progress on. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's things that I just don't want to forget to work on from time to time. So I finished 7 of them, completely finished, and I made progress on 7 of them. That means that I didn't touch 5 of them, and I'm okay with that. So this is another one of the ones that was on the list to work on. This was a kit that I showed you from when I was shop hopping. So it's this cute table runner pattern and I have the top done, and I just need to get it onto the long arm and get it quilted. So I'm really happy with that. I really enjoyed making that one. And that one should get done this month. And then the rest of the ones I'm going to show you are just things that I am going to be working on a little bit at a time. I started another string quilt. So when the bin gets really full, if I can remind myself to do it, I will keep making string blocks. And so I only have 4 done. If I make it the size that I've made some of my other ones, I need 63 blocks. So it's not going to be a finish in the next couple of weeks. I don't work that fast on any one thing, so that's okay. Who knows how long. I'm not even worried or thinking about how long it's going to take me to do it. Because I had so much success with those 9 patches, the plus blocks, I remembered that I also had a pile of 4 patches. I saw a picture online. Let me see if I can find out. Did I write down who I got that from? I will put her name into the description box. But I had saved a picture from Instagram, and this gal made a really pretty version of her 4 patches with alternate squares. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with 4 patches and alternate squares. And I've actually picked out a whole bunch of very, very dark blacks with a very little bit of print on them, so that these 4 patches and the chain really can try to stand out quite nicely, quite distinctly. I need about 250 maybe 4 patches. And my baggie already had like close to 200, so I don't have too many more to make, but still, if it takes a couple of months, I'm not going to worry about it. If I can get all of my, these are made with 2-inch squares as well. So these are 3.5 inches. My alternate squares are cut at 3.5 inches. And if I can get a whole bunch of this stuff, my scraps, cut up for that, then I can start assembling as I make more 4 patches. I can start at least making twosies. I can at least sew a square to a 4 patch and kind of work on it that way. So again, no timeline for that. But it's on my list for August. This is August 1st. And so the reason I know all this is because I did a little work this morning, updating my project list and looking at my progress that I had made over the past month and figuring out what I wanted to do this month. So I have 15 projects on my August list. And that includes the ones I've already showed you, just sewing the binding down. I want to get that done this month. Putting those other 2 on the long arm and getting that table and the table runner too, getting those on the long arm and getting those done. So those are projects that are very near completion. And I should, out of those 15, I should be able to finish several of them in the next 5 weeks. August has 31 days. I got a lot of time. So continuing on, I did pull out another project that I thought that I'd like to get to. I'm not sure I will, but I'm going to try. I have this batch of plus blocks that I started a little over a year ago. And a gal that I follow on Instagram, her name is Tara Seberg, at Tara Seberg. I'll put her name down in the description box. She made this quilt and posted it, I think, in May of last year. And I really liked it, and I had a box of solid fabrics that was calling to me. So I started it, and she posted all the cutting instructions, assembling instructions on her Instagram page. I think it's still there. I'll have to check, but in the meantime, I can at least show you the kind of stuff she does. I really enjoy it, and I really like following her and seeing what she's up to. Anyway, I have to make more of these bar blocks in order to finish this quilt. I have a lot of them, but I don't have enough of them for the size quilt that I want to do. And I just need to cut some more strips to make those bar blocks. And so if I could get a little cutting session in, then I could rock and roll and get this one at least maybe to the assembly stage over the next couple of weeks. I have another little project that I thought would, since I really enjoy doing these table runners and these smaller projects, I am going to hopefully get this one cut out. I showed this one before as a kit that I bought when I was shop hopping. And only instead of Christmas fabrics like on the cover, first I'm going to make it in Halloween fabrics. So, and then once I make it for Halloween fabrics, maybe I'll make a couple of them because those would be fun to give away. And then I can maybe make a couple of the same ones for Christmas, because I have a good sized tub of fabrics that I could dig into to make multiples of those. So that's my plan. I have a bunch of projects to finish up and a couple of new things to work on. I don't think I'm going anywhere this month, so I should have quite a bit of sewing time. Oh, last time I asked about if you had any suggestions for how to use an old Temptations container. And Temptations are cat treats. And it looked like a good sized container. And I wasn't sure if I was thinking about seeing if I could use it somehow in my quilting studio. And I did get a couple of ideas. However, when I opened it again, even though I had washed it thoroughly, it still smelled like kitty treats. So it is not staying in my sewing room. It could go out to the garage and get used for nuts and bolts or something there. But I am not, when I realized that it still had an odor of kitty treats, I thought, no, I'm not going to put anything from my sewing room in there. So that's a little update on that. The other little update is I had shown a bow tie quilt last time, and that one is on my list for this month to get that backing done and get that going on the long arm. So maybe I hope that I'll have that one finished this month. I didn't bring it to show today, but I haven't made any progress on it since I showed it to you before. I am working on a demo on the shibori blocks that I did. It was from a quilt that I showed last time, a blue and white quilt. So I am working on a demo for that. I was happy to do that. If you see something else that you'd like to have a demo on, I would be happy to give it a try. That was fun to do. And let's see. So one of the other things that I've been thinking about when I make my list of projects, things that I want to work on, is if you saw the amount of stash that I have, I know some of you are going to be appalled and some of you are going to be, is that all you have? Anyway, it is what it is. But I realized that I bought a lot of these fabrics with good intentions and wanting to make something with them, right? So I had written down a list several months ago on projects and things that I had always wanted to make, but I haven't gotten around to making yet. So I decided I needed to make up my list and print it out on a spreadsheet so that I would be able to keep it in mind more. But when I wrote down what I had done, these were my ideas, and those were the challenges that I had. And these are all the projects that I finished based on trying to accomplish some of those things. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I had made, I'd say a decent amount of progress on that, but it also showed me which areas I haven't done yet. So that will help me figure out which projects that I want to start when I have a chance to do something new. And I'm still busy trying to finish some old things and use up some of those orphan blocks and all of that. And I do have a little clip that I will put in at some point, maybe not today, maybe today, maybe not today, a clip of my project shelves so that you can see a little bit how I have those organized. But I'm glad to have that list of how the things that I wanted to do that I haven't gotten around to yet. And it's obviously worked because it's been helping me get through those, and I have a lot of projects to show for it. So that made me quite pleased. So my tip today, my tip is about mini quilts. So here's one little mini quilt that I did, and it's about the size of a placemat. And then here's another one. I didn't make this, but I bought it at an auction. And this one's a little bigger, 18 by 18, I would say. So I don't know how many of you make mini quilts, and what do you do with them when you make them? Well, I don't put a lot of them on the wall. I do use some of them on tables and on display. But my friends Mary and Joni gave me another idea for using them. And they put one, like either of these two sizes would work. And they put it under their laptop. And so I've been doing that lately. And I really enjoy having that little pop of color, that fun project to look at and enjoy, and with my laptop on there. And I could even, if there's room on some of them, there's room to put a drink on there. You may not want to, you may not, but I just wanted to give you another way to use your quilts and enjoy your quilts, and have them with you or around you all the time. So I hope you'll try out that little tip. Let me know if you do. And almost lastly, I just wanted to thank you all so much for joining me and for subscribing. And so I want to give a shout out to some of the more recent subscribers. So thank you very, very much to Twins for Me Too, Kept in Stitches, Mamie, Liz, Linda, Elwood, Alicia, Pam, Donna, Marguerite, Deborah, Becky, Cheryl, Pink Sprinkle, Shelley, Mrs. Bobbin Lacer, Amy, Lori, Margaret, Lucy, Paula, Jenny, Penny, and Kathy, and there are more. So thank you all very much for subscribing. It's been really fun reading your comments and responding to them. It's just great fun. So I appreciate all of you so much, and I hope that you'll join me next time as well. Before I sign off, I just want to also invite all of you, if you are anywhere near the Indianapolis area and planning fall trips. I am a member of the Quilters Guild of Indianapolis, so here's my t-shirt. And I want to invite you all to come, if you can, to our Guild's show. It's September 19th and 20th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. And I will put a link in the description box so that you can hopefully more easily get some information about that. And if you have any way that you might be coming through this way, coming through Indianapolis, it would be great to see you at the show. So thank you all again very much for watching. Happy sewing. Bye-bye.